should win.
I'm trying not to sound like a broken record again, but of course everybody wants kart number 61. It's definitely the fastest of the fleet. We didn't get kart 61 for this race, but we did get kart 58, which has made a return. So we've got a good chance of challenging kart 61. That kart goes to Athena Cooper. So let's see what we can do, see if we can pip her to the fastest lap. For this round there's a new event format in place, so I'll just let that play out now so you can hear exactly what's coming up.
So, the Cup format is effectively a 20-minute session to start us off. 15 minutes of that session is counted towards practice. Practice is just a chance for the drivers to get used to their karts, make sure that they're happy with it so that they've got the best possible opportunity to set a fast lap time as they go into qualifying. After 15 minutes, the drivers will stay on the circuit. They will then see a green flag on the Turn 1 digital board. That green flag will signify the start of their qualifying session, and then the next 5 minutes of their session will be a qualifying session. That qualifying will then be completed for both Group 1 and Group 2. The Group 1 drivers are the drivers that are down at the gate now, ready to go out onto the circuit, and the Group 2 will be out shortly afterwards. So once all the qualifyings have been completed, we're going to get all of the lap times together, and then we do a little bit of a comparison. So if you finish first in the first group, you will either be in first or second in the A final. You'll get compared directly against whoever finishes first in Group 2, and then we'll keep doing this comparison as we go on throughout the entirety of the grid. So first and first get compared, second and second get compared, third and third get compared. The way to think about it is that you're cut off to being guaranteed to be in the A final. I believe, without having properly looked at it, around 4th or 5th in your juniors.
So I hope that's made good sense, because on the day when they first said this to us, before it was clarified here over the tannoy, none of the parents had any idea what was going on. It was chaotic with questions being fired at the marshals. So hopefully that made clear sense. So let's get into the racing. This is a 10-minute practice straight into a 5-minute qualifier. Oscar's coming out in kart 58. We're just one lap in, and Athena Cooper has moved up from P6 to P3. Now, positions don't count, obviously, it's only practice. But this means that it's looking very likely that soon she's going to be on the back of Oscar's tail. Also, Alfie is doing exceptionally well to keep up with us here in kart 55.
Yeah, Alfie's in 55.
Track limits for 61 there.
Yeah.
doing well to keep up with Oscar in 55 because that kart last week was shocking. Yep, that's me telling Oscar he's currently in P3 for lap times. He needs to get a move on. But then I stepped back inside the building and realised Oscar's actually in P2 with that lap he's just finished, and that Alfie is currently in P1. So it looks like we're set for a great battle between Alfie, Oscar and Athena once the qualifying session begins. As you can see, Alfie's right on our bumper. We don't want this through qualifying, so we either need to let him pass or we need to find some extra pace and pull away from him. It's also almost guaranteed that him slipstreaming us down the long straight is the reason that he's ahead of us at the minute on lap times. So we don't want to give him that opportunity, and preferably we'd rather be slipstreaming somebody else ourselves. Two. Second, yeah.
On lap times, yeah. Alfie's still beating him on.
I don't understand where that car fifth power speeding for 55's coming from.
Yeah.
And Oscar's a little bit down. I think he's defending.
That's what I just said to
Yeah,
Dad.
that's what I just said.
Because he's defending.
He doesn't need to on the qualifiers for that.
Oscar would do a lot better to let Alfie pass him and then follow him down here for the slipstream. Also, that's an advantage he's probably going to need to beat Kart 61. Athena Cooper in Kart 61 has now just took the fastest lap of the session and put Oscar down into P3. P3, 5 minutes. Qualifying starts in just under 5 minutes time, and Oscar has to make up 1/10 of a second on Alfie and 6/10 of a second on Athena. It's not an easy task at all, with Alfie standing P2 in the championships and Athena in the fastest kart. Being held up by the cadet has allowed Athena to catch up to the back of Alfie. Funnily enough now, as Athena passes Alfie on this corner, the cadet makes the most of the opportunity to and overtakes Alfie. We've got 3 minutes until qualifying. Being chased down now by Athena in Kart 61. You're still P3. 1, 3, go. The best thing Oscar could do now is to hold Athena off for the next 2 minutes until the qualifying starts. Let her pass him just before the start of it, and then slipstream her. congratulations to Athena, who took P1 in the end by just over 1/10 of a second from Oscar. It would have been nice to have seen the times Oscar would have got in the 2 laps that he was hampered on, but we were all racing in the same conditions. It's just unfortunate that sometimes, it can mess your lap up. But still, this puts us in a good position for the A final. We should be starting in either position 3 or 4. And again, of course, whether we finish in that will all come down to the kart selection.
You had a bad car, but you got someone here ready for the final. Good stuff, guys.
Right.
Massive chunk of rubber about that big flew off the steering wheel.
Off your steering wheel, just?
Yeah.
It's got a hole in it?
Yeah, that's what I had in it. I didn't know what to do, so it's like, it had a hole on the white side, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just opened up and it was some kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going around and it was just in my hand.
Yeah, like, it just felt like I had like a tiny, well, I don't know what you can feel like, a little bug or something. Yeah.
He beat you by 2/100ths of a second, so you finished P2 on the time, 61.1 with Athena. You finished P2. Ruben also finished P2 in his practice, but he's beat you by 2/100ths, so that should start you P4 in the A final. So no prizes for guessing. Kart 61 also won the first group. Even Ruben Potter himself in Kart 58 couldn't stop it. Yeah, it's so close. But you had a clean lap at the end, and I thought you was going to get your fastest lap on the last one, but you didn't quite do it.
Yeah, it was about that big, a piece of rubber. It went through to the metal on the steering wheel.
It was, that definitely affecting your driving then, is the hole in the steering wheel?
No, it wasn't affecting it, no.
Where did it fly off to? Did it go on the track or?
Yeah.
Have a listen.
When I was going around like another corner over there,
Yeah.
I was going around and a massive piece of rubber off the steering wheel was in my hand.
Really?
Yeah, it
Broke off
flew
the
off.
steering wheel.
I can see the metal now in the steering wheel.
Have you told the steward when you pulled up?
You did well, mate. You did really well.
Yeah.
Second.
You come first in the actual race, but
So that was me basically secretly telling Oscar that I'm about to go downstairs and collect the balloon and the card, as it's Nan's birthday today.
You can't blame the birthday girl.
Yeah.
Queen for the day. Well done, Oscar. Whose birthday is it?
Oh, God. Oh, no. I haven't got my age on there.
Says happy 80th.
Happy birthday to
So knowing that we were starting the A final in P4, we watched the B final play out and just kept our fingers tightly crossed that one of the top 3 karts that were in today's session would end up in P4 come the end of the race. Kart 61, however, was driven by a driver that was a few seconds off the pace, and that ended up finishing in P7. And Kart 58, for quite a large chunk of the race, was actually in P4, so we begun to get a little bit excited, thinking Oscar will have his first chance of the season to get onto the podium in an A final. However, towards the end of the race, Kart 58 managed to move up into P3 and knocked Kart 51 down into P4. So we were going to be starting the A final in Kart 51, a kart that we know from previous rounds is a shocker. So on screen now are the lap times from round 2 of the championships back in February, where Oscar had Kart 51. He actually had Kart 51 throughout all 3 sessions on that day. Managed to finish P2 in it in the B final, which I haven't included here. But if you look at the times on there, he's been beaten in one race by 6 of 7 cadets and been beaten in the other race by all 6 cadets. So yeah, this isn't really a kart we would like to have had for any final. And the other good kart that's in today's race is kart number 68. That finished in P1, so goes to Ruben Potter. It's looking, therefore, pretty much set in stone now that P1 for the A final is already decided. However, Harry Kennedy in kart 61, who is starting in P7, may be able to do something about that, although he's in P9 in the championships table currently after the first 5 rounds. He still might have a chance using kart 61 to catch up with Ruben, threaten him and potentially get himself a place at least on the podium. Right then, this is the A final. Oscar starting in P4 in kart 51. Finished 4th in the B final with Harry Kennedy. Ruben Potter, P1. Right, so I'm only just noticing this now, editing this video. How has Ruben Potter managed to get into P1? He finished P2 in his group, the same as Oscar did. So he should have been either P3 or P4, but he had a slightly faster time than Oscar, so he should have been in P3. We don't understand how Noah's been dropped back to P3 and Ruben's been promoted to P1. 68, there's your winner.
Yeah.
Kart 52, Athena. Kart 58, not wearing his own uniform, is Noah. His uniform got soaked in petrol. Oscar in 51. You've got Alfie in P5 in kart 50. William Jenkinson in 56, which we know is pretty quick.
That's 61, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kart number 61 there. I can't think of his name. Kart 55 at the back. So there he goes, Harry Kennedy in kart 61 has just moved up in half a lap from P7 to P4. It's absolutely pointless us trying to defend him because that'll only scupper our own race. And we now sit in the slipstream of kart 61 down the long straight, but as you're going to see, right from here, he just pulls away from us. Third, yeah, but he got kart 58, didn't he? There you go, P7. He's going around there like he's a novice in that kart. Yeah, it's all over. He's completely done.
That's probably the longest race you've done, isn't
I'm going to film away for a second and watch something happen. At the moment is, where is it? A 64.3. 63.8, 63.5, 64.3, 63.6, 63.7. He's definitely off the pace.
Dead right.
Who's that? 56. Yeah, we knew from the last round that was on its last legs. There we go.
Oh, what's happened to Will? He's been pushed.
Yep, sitting here, editing this, watching Oscar just leaking positions like a sieve. It's incredibly frustrating. We've been in 7 finals now, including the 1B final which we won. Oscar hasn't yet had one of the top 4 karts in any of the finals. With only 7 or 8 karters at a time on track in the juniors, you'd have thought, considering there's at least 2 to 3 of the top 4 karts on track at one time, you'd have thought that sometime throughout the 7 finals that we've been in, we'd have had a bit of luck and got at least one of the good ones, but it just hasn't gone our way at all in these championships with the kart selection, and that is the reason why we haven't had one single podium in the A final. We've finished P4 a couple of times. But yeah, this is just immensely frustrating to watch, especially knowing Oscar has the pace and ability to be competing at the top end of the championships. I'll say it again, what I've said previously in a video, that we believe that, well I believe at least, that the marshals should remove the fastest kart from the fleet. They know kart 61 is well ahead of all the others, and anything that's slacking, that's lagging far behind, remove that from the fleet as well, just to give everybody a more fair chance. Now, Oscar wants to move up into the N35 championships for next season, which is something that I am considering. But we've also seen a video put out by Sol Gregory where he was talking again about the parity between the different karts. He was seeing a 3 seconds a lap difference between the kart he had in one session and the kart he had in the next. So is it the right thing to invest back into Daytona Tamworth? Now, Oscar wants to go there, he wants to do the N35s, he loves the track. But from my perspective, if he's unable to compete simply because of kart parity, what is the point? What is the point in investing into something like this? It's super frustrating. So William Jenkinson is just getting his replacement kart. Kart 56, which blew up on him, is the kart that I mentioned in the last round video. The one that apparently somebody said had a burnt out clutch and sounded like it was on its last legs. So it's no surprise to see that out of the race now. And his replacement kart is kart number 53. Probably equally as bad as ours. as the race leaders. All out on their own. Kart 50, which we know is next best. Kids saying that Kart 50 is bad. 16 minutes left. No, he's got his. Oh no. I thought he was going to dive by Musker then. Woo. Shows how slow the kart is. The cadets kept up with him up the hill. Look at that. He's really struggling to lose a cadet. So that's literally all she wrote. We pulled away from Athena behind us. The 4 karts ahead of us pulled away from us and we were left in no man's land. So finishing P5 today has done us no favours at all. We're still sitting in P4 in the championships after 6 rounds. The threats to us really, Jade and Statham in P7. We've all got to drop our lowest scoring round, and because Jaden's 1 round down anyway, he's going to leapfrog us once that comes in at the end of the season. So that'll put us down into P5. It was a great result for Harry Kennedy today. He finished P2 with Kart 61, but he's too far behind us in P6 on points to catch up in the last 2 rounds. So it's looking like we're going to get ourselves P5 for the season. unless Oscar can win the last 2 rounds, and believe me, that's now our objective. You got a 63.9 in Kart 51. That is absolutely rapid. Yeah, for Kart 61, you'd probably set a PB in that kart, if you know what I mean. Kart 51, sorry, not Kart 61. What am I talking about? Same old. Kart 61, 58 and 68 battling it out. Well, 68 was Ruben and he ran away with that. And then it was 61 and 58 battling it out at P2 and P3. Then there was a gap to Kart 50, which before I said is decent, 13-4. And you were the first person who won a bad batch of karts. 51, 56 after a bad round last round.
You're alright, mate. You did your best.
It's got a duff on again, didn't it? No speed in it, no acceleration.
P5. Excellent for the kart that you had. Well done, dude.